Welcome back to CBS This Morning, only on CBS This Morning. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is unveiling the next step in her effort to get more families access to healthy food. She discusses her newest initiative with waffles and mochi in our next hour. I just love this picture. I can't wait for you to hear more about this. They are the stars of her Netflix show that teaches kids about new foods and culinary traditions. Well, we spoke with Mrs. Obama about food insecurity and other challenges that we're facing as a country, including the work that still needs to be done to end systemic racism and how the pandemic has affected our mental health. You know, we're still dealing with COVID. We're now going into year 2, and I remember you wrote very candidly about feeling a low grade of depression. How did you get through that, and how did that manifest itself for you? Because I think a lot of people felt that.
Well, and that's why I thought it was important to say it out loud, because to not feel depressed with all that was going on,
it would be what's wrong with you.
It's sort of like, so you feel okay in all of this, you know? And sometimes we just need to speak the truth. You know, when there is such uncertainty and unrest and lack of leadership and calm, it is upsetting. It shakes you. But the point is that, you know, there are dips, ebbs and flows to life. There are times when you feel great and times when you feel really low. But it's important for us to own that happens to us. For me, you know, I have developed my own set of tools. Number one, I tell you this all the time, sometimes I have to turn it off.
Yeah, the TV,
sometimes I cannot continue to take it in. Not that
you tell me that, When
I'm on the ledge,
off.
I have to turn it off. And I think I want young people to be comfortable with identifying those peaks and valleys and knowing that those valleys don't last forever.
Don't last always.
And I just don't want any young person to make a decision about anything when they're in a valley. You know, they have to know that time will move you to a better place.
It does seem like we're coming out of the COVID valley. You know, it was a long dark tunnel. I think we're still sort of in the tunnel, but I do sort of see light back there.
Yeah. Well, it'd be better light if people would get vaccinated.
There's still so many people that are either scared or just think, no, I'm not doing it.
All I can say is that I have tried to live a life where I don't lie to people. And the science behind a vaccine is the same science that's behind aspirin and insulin.
What are the COVID rules for visiting the Obamas?
Now it's be vaccinated.
Be vaccinated.
That's you want to hang out with us? Get your vaccine. Get all of it, finish it up, and then we can talk. So I urge everybody out there within the sound of our voices, please get the vaccine. It's time.
The pandemic is not the only challenge the country is facing. As we near the 1-year mark since George Floyd's murder, there is an urgent call across the nation to address systemic racism, and in particular, the continued reports of Black people dying at the hands of the police. There is clearly issues between the Black community and policing. And it seems there are still so many people that don't want to even admit that there's a problem with racism in this country.
I wish I had an answer. You know, for me, it goes back to we have to get to know each other. And so much of what is going on is that if you've been raised to assume that all Black people are X, in the case of interactions with Black men and police officers, sadly, it can also often lead to death. You know, after the Derek Chauvin verdict, you and Barack released a statement that I thought was very powerful. You all felt the need to speak out. And you don't often speak out, the two of you together. The goal is to let leaders lead, but in certain times people, you know, look to us often, well, what do you think? How do you feel? And we know that while we're all breathing a sigh of relief over the verdict, there's still work to be done. And so we can't sort of say, great, that happened, let's move on. I know that people in the Black community don't feel that way because many of us still live in fear as we go to the grocery store or worry about walking our dogs or allowing our children to get a license. I mean, just imagine. You know, you have a son right now. Aren't your girls driving? They're driving, but every time they get in a car by themselves, I worry about what assumption is being made by somebody who doesn't know everything about them. The fact that they are good students and polite girls, but maybe they're playing their music a little loud. Maybe somebody sees the back of their head and makes an assumption. I, like so many parents of black kids, have to, that the innocent act of getting a license puts fear in our hearts.
Sasha and Malia, who were only 7 and 10 years old when the Obamas entered the White House, are both now in college, with Malia all set to graduate this year. Malia's graduating. Can you just tell me how you guys are feeling about that? I remember when you were taking her to school.
I know. I almost forgot that this summer, they're going to be 23 and 20.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just like, stop there. I don't even have teenagers anymore.
Yes, you have young women.
Young women. So I am excited for her next chapter. That's why I want to be as excited as every parent. I don't want to have to worry about her entering a world where she has to worry about how people would treat her because of the color of her skin. So I am excited, but I'd like to be more excited to know that as she goes out and gets her first apartment and rides the subway somewhere, that they don't make assumptions about her based on the color of her skin, that she's not at risk out there in the world as an adult because she's a black woman.
Wow.
Yeah, Michelle Obama, I thought, very candid talking. You know, when they were in the White House, they very seldom talked about the girls.
Yeah.
But now, you know, we're at a different time in the country, and I think that she wanted to speak up about it. You know, it's hard to believe that they're 23 and 20. Because I still remember them on the stage coming out, so that's something. Shows we're all getting older. And then the Obamas got very sad news over the weekend. I was so sad when I saw it on the news that Bo, we all remember when they got Bo.
Yeah, that's right.
Bo, the family dog, there he is. Bo, the family dog, passed away over the weekend, and Michelle Obama released a statement. Bo died of cancer. She said, the past year with everyone home under the roof, no one was happier than Bo to have all of his people under one roof just the way he did, just the way he was the day we got him. We'll be grateful for the time that they spent together. But we'll miss him, the joyful life, the snuggles, the games of fetch, and evenings spent lying on the couch. Michelle spent a lot of time taking care of Bo, I have to say. Yeah. But he was a family dog. Everybody loved him, and that was, anybody who's had a dog knows that pain.
That's a huge
It
loss.
hurts.
Yeah.
A big loss.
It hurts. We will have more of our conversation with the former First Lady in our next hour. This is the reason why she did the interview to begin with. She discusses her latest initiative to give families access to healthy food and tells us about a new hobby. Yep, she's found time for a hobby that she's picked up during this pandemic.